Due to mature subject matter, viewer discretion is advised.
Are we a normal family? We have 2 kids, order Domino's for dinner sometimes.
All right, I'm ready to go.
In many ways, we fit the kind of normal stereotype. Our kids, Caden and Zyler, are 3.5 years old, and we're raising them using they, them, their gender-neutral pronouns so that they can decide for themselves when, if, and how they want to identify as a gender.
I think that knowing the sex or the gender of your child is important to other people, partially just because it's part of the social script. They don't notice that they're any different from any other children because they have no idea that some children are she and some children are he.
All right.
To them, they're all children, so like they don't notice any difference, and the other kids that they're with don't notice any difference. A lot of young girls are, when they grow up, they're told, you know, don't get dirty, don't do that, that's not safe, be careful, those kinds of things, and then they grow up to think that they're not capable of doing all these things, and then the young boys are told, oh, don't cry, you're okay, be strong, and then they aren't comfortable having emotions, which can cause a lot of problems when they're older. Gender is not something that we have discussed with either of them at all, really.
We're as nervous about that as most parents are about like how our baby's made.
They haven't really asked about it, so we're waiting until that question comes up. I think we're just kind of gonna wing it a little bit when we get there, but you know, telling them that gender is something that's fluid, and you know, a lot of people have penises, identify as being boys, but that's not something that is necessary if you feel like you're a girl, and vice versa.
There is research that shows when you use gender binaries in our language, so when we say good morning boys and girls, or when we just say to our kids, come on girls, or what a smart boy you are, using gender to sort and categorize and label kids, we do know that that increases gender stereotypes.
Do you want the hair clip in your hair? Yeah. Do you need help, or are you gonna do it yourself? You did it! As a result of raising our kids as Theybies, I'm hoping that they'll grow up and be supportive of other people and who they are and how they feel, and really confident and happy in who they are themselves.
NBC News has been under fire for their strange attempt at normalizing 2 parents experimenting on their 3-year-old twins by refusing to acknowledge their gender. The mother says her twins have no idea if they are male or female, and that they have no idea if other children are male or female. The father is nervous to discuss it with them, and when they do, they will tell them that gender is something that's fluid. Despite the fact that only 0.3% of the population identify as transgender, and 40% of them end up committing suicide, these parents have decided to risk the mental health of their own children for an experiment of gender fluidity. Gender fluidity, the theory that there is no such thing as biological gender. Where did all this madness come from? Psychologist John Money, who claimed that heterosexuality was a superficial concept while advocating for what he called affectional pedophilia, is the man responsible for today's controversial gender studies. He believed that gender was learned as opposed to being an innate part of biology. Money's John Joan case has been celebrated and pushed to support the practice of sexual reassignment surgery, when in reality, it was a complete train wreck. The John Joan case involved a young boy named David Reamer, who in 1966, at the age of 8 months old, suffered a botched circumcision. Dr. Money persuaded the boy's parents that sexual reassignment surgery would be his best option for living a healthy life. The child was surgically castrated at the age of 22 months, given hormone treatments, and raised to believe that he was a female named Brenda. Part of this experiment involved John Money forcing David and his twin brother to simulate having sex with one another, while David would pretend to be a female named Brenda. He also had the boys strip off their clothes and inspect each other's genitals while he photographed them. And he claimed that this was important for a healthy adult gender identity. He published several papers claiming the reassignment was successful, writing that the child's behavior is so clearly that of an active little girl and so different from the boyish ways of her twin brother. But David's side of the story was completely different. Unsurprisingly, David Reamer claimed these experiences were deeply traumatic, and at the age of 15, chose to live his life as a boy once again. And things ended badly for both brothers. The twin brother, Brian, developed schizophrenia, and both of them suffered years of severe depression before each taking their own lives. Brian overdosed in 2002, and David shot himself in the head with a shotgun in 2004. He was 38 years old. It's child abuse. And if we continue to allow the unrelenting state to stay their course, then we will see the end of the organic family as we know it.